Snow fell gently over the city, wrapping the streets in silver silence. The restaurants glowed with laughter and candlelight. But in the far corner of an upscale diner, Ethan Ward, one of the city's youngest CEOs, sat alone at a table for one. He looked the part of success. Tailored suit, gold watch, sleek phone on the table, but his eyes told a different story, cold, tired, empty. The waiter approached cautiously. "Another glass of wine, sir?" Ethan shook his head. "No, that'll be all." Outside, families passed by the window, children pulling their parents' hands, giggling, faces glowing red from the cold. He remembered when Christmas used to mean something. Before the company, before the boardrooms, before he lost the only person who'd ever made December feel warm, his mother. He glanced at the extra plate across from him, untouched, as always. He ordered 2 meals every Christmas Eve, pretending someone would join him. That's when a small voice interrupted his thoughts. "Excuse me, sir." Ethan looked up. A little girl, maybe 6 years old, wrapped in a pink coat and holding a stuffed reindeer, stood beside his table. Behind her, a woman who looked exhausted but kind smiled apologetically. "I'm sorry," the woman said quickly. "She just wanted to—" The little girl stepped forward. "You look lonely. Do you want to have dinner with us?" For a moment, Ethan just stared, stunned into silence. Her eyes were wide and innocent, her smile missing a front tooth. He almost laughed or cried, he wasn't sure which. Dinner?" he repeated softly. She nodded eagerly. "Yes, Mommy made lasagna, but we brought too much. We're just across the street at Grandma's. You can come. It's Christmas." Her mother blushed. "I told her not to bother anyone, but—" Ethan stood slowly. "No," he said gently, a smile tugging at his lips for the first time in months. "She's not bothering me at all." He looked down at the little girl. "Thank you for the invitation." The girl beamed. "You'll come?" Ethan hesitated. The CEO in him wanted to decline politely, to retreat to his solitude. But the man in him, the lonely child who once sat beside a mother's small kitchen table, whispered yes. "I'd be honored," he said quietly. The apartment was small, but warm, a string of colored lights draped unevenly across the window, a paper star above a tiny tree. The smell of lasagna filled the air, and the sound of carols played softly in the background. Ethan stood awkwardly in the doorway, his expensive coat hanging beside old scarves and mittens. The woman introduced herself as Mia, a single mom, and the girl, of course, was Lila. Lila proudly dragged him to the table. "You sit here. Next to me?" He laughed in an actual laugh, unpracticed and real. "Yes, ma'am." The dinner was simple, no gold-rimmed plates or fine wine, but as they ate, something in Ethan began to melt. He listened to Lila chatter about her school play, watched Mia's gentle patience as she helped her daughter cut food, and realized how long it had been since he'd heard laughter that wasn't forced. At one point, Lila asked him, "Do you have a family, mister?" Ethan hesitated. "I used to," he said softly. "But they're far away now." Lila frowned. "That's okay. You can borrow us." Mia smiled warmly. "She's serious about that." Ethan looked at them. The mismatched plates, the imperfect decorations, the love that filled every corner of the room. And for the first time in years, he felt home. When dinner ended, Lila pressed a candy cane into his hand. "For next Christmas," she said, "so you won't be alone." He knelt down, his voice thick. "Thank you, Lila. You just gave me the best Christmas I've ever had." Mia met his eyes, something quiet and unexpected passing between them. Hope. That night, as Ethan walked back into the softly falling snow, the city lights blurred behind his tears. He didn't return to his penthouse. He didn't open his laptop. He just stood there in the snow, clutching a child's candy cane, realizing that sometimes the smallest invitation can save a life.